Millions of ARMY cry after Taehyung's shocking statement about Jungkook. What really happened? Hey! Everyone, welcome to my channel. Before we dive in, if you're part of the ARMY family, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. This is where we unravel the truth, piece by piece, story by story. It happened quietly, almost too quietly for the noise it would later create. During a late-night live session, Taehyung's voice carried a weight that ARMY hadn't heard in years. He spoke slowly, carefully, like every word had been rehearsed, or maybe feared. And then, almost without warning, he said something about Jungkook, something no one expected. Clips from that night began circulating online within minutes. Fans paused, rewound, replayed, zoomed in on his expression, searching for clues in the flicker of his eyes or the twitch of a smile that never quite formed. "Why would he say that?" one fan tweeted. "Is there trouble between them?" asked another. And within hours, hashtags like #ProtectTaehyung and #WhereIsJungkook dominated the global trending list. But here's the thing, this wasn't just a random statement. It was a fracture line that had been quietly forming beneath the surface for months, maybe even years. Think back to the beginning. 2013, 7 boys, 1 dream, and a world that had no idea what was about to hit it. Taehyung and Jungkook weren't just members of BTS, they were part of the heartbeat of the group. Jungkook, the youngest, the golden maknae, with a voice and talent that seemed almost impossible for someone so young. Taehyung, with that deep, soulful tone and a presence that could make a stadium fall silent. They were brothers, not by blood, but by the kind of bond you can't manufacture. On stage, their chemistry was electric. Off stage, their moments of teasing, quiet support, and shared glances became the stuff of ARMY legends. But in the world of fame, nothing stays untouched. By 2023, whispers had already started. Jungkook's solo activities were exploding in popularity, and Taehyung was pouring his soul into his own artistry. They were growing, as artists, as men, but growth often means change, and change can be misread. The night of Taehyung's statement, it wasn't what he said that broke hearts, it was how he said it. Sometimes, he began, pausing, people need to walk their own path, even if that path takes them far from the ones they love. For a split second, you could almost hear the collective gasp of millions watching through their screens. Was he talking about Jungkook? Was this a goodbye? Theories exploded. Some claimed it was about artistic independence. Others believed it hinted at personal struggles, maybe even a rift within the group. But for ARMY, it wasn't just speculation, it was an emotional earthquake. Why would Taehyung, usually so protective of his words, drop something this raw, this heavy, without context? Was it accidental, or intentional? History tells us that BTS rarely speaks without thought. They've always known the weight of their words. Which brings us to a deeper, more unsettling question: if Taehyung knew the storm his statement would cause, why say it at all? Some believe this was his way of preparing ARMY for an inevitable truth, that Jungkook's journey might soon take a direction separate from the group. It wouldn't be the first time in music history. The Beatles, One Direction, countless others, all began as unshakable units before time and personal growth pulled them apart. And yet, BTS has always defied the odds. Even through military enlistments, personal projects, and relentless schedules, they've promised to return as 7. Could this be different? Behind the scenes, there had been subtle signs. Fewer joint live streams between the two. More solo interviews, solo appearances. When Jungkook attended events alone, the usual playful interactions with Taehyung were notably absent. Some fans noticed. Others dismissed it. But after Taehyung's words, everything seemed to click in place, painfully so. It's worth remembering that this isn't just about fame or music. For Taehyung, Jungkook isn't just a colleague. He's the little brother he watched grow from a shy teenager into a global superstar. And for Jungkook, Taehyung is one of the rare people who's seen every side of him, the highs, the lows, the nights when the weight of the world felt too heavy. Which is why this moment felt so personal. It wasn't an official announcement, a press release, or a staged reveal. It was Taehyung, speaking in the quiet hours, letting something slip that he must have carried for a long time. And maybe he knew exactly what he was doing. Because in the hours that followed, something unusual happened. Jungkook went silent. No posts. No replies. No appearances. For someone who's usually quick to reassure fans, the silence was deafening. Was it hurt? Agreement? Or simply a decision to let Taehyung's words stand without interference? Whatever the reason, the world is still waiting for an answer. And in that silence, the questions keep multiplying. In the days that followed, the digital world became a battlefield of emotions. Some army members clung to hope, flooding timelines with clips of Taehyung and Jungkook laughing together in the past, reminding everyone that bonds like theirs don't just vanish overnight. Others braced for impact, convinced that Taehyung's statement was a carefully chosen prelude to something bigger and irreversible. But the truth is, if you look closely, the story of Taehyung and Jungkook has always been one of both closeness and distance, a rhythm of finding each other, then stepping apart, only to meet again on stage under the same lights. It's like the lyrics of Spring Day, about missing someone, about time stretching and bending in ways that test the heart. For Taehyung, who has often spoken about valuing deep, genuine connections, watching Jungkook step into a new chapter of his life might be both a source of pride and a quiet ache. This is where the complexity lies. In most friendships, distance can be bridged with a phone call or a visit. But for global icons like them, the stakes are different. Every move is scrutinized. Every word is magnified. And sometimes, silence speaks louder than anything else. Some insiders, people who've worked with BTS behind the scenes, have hinted that both Taehyung and Jungkook have been navigating immense personal pressures this year. If you felt this story, if you believe there's more beneath the surface, don't just scroll past. Leave your theories in the comments, share this with a fellow ARMY, and let's keep the conversation alive. And remember, this isn't the end of the story. Not yet. Thank you for watching, and for being part of a community that understands that sometimes, love doesn't disappear, it just takes a different form. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and stay connected.